Okay.
This is easily one of my favorite stories of all time, and it is the epitome of it's not stupid if it works.
I like his duck on his shirt.
Today we're talking about Operation Beaver Drop, that time that a bunch of World War
Beavers.
II veterans that worked for the Idaho Fish and Game Department got assigned the task of relocating a bunch of beavers to a different habitat, and they decided that the cheapest, safest, most cost-effective way to go about that was to strap them to parachutes and throw them out of a plane. And we're
Really? Imagine, dude, imagine you're like you're sitting on your porch having a good day. You look up and there's beavers flying in the sky, coming down off of parachute. Dude, and imagine these poor beavers. Oh my God, if I was a beaver, I'd have a heart attack. It's raining beavers. I would have a freaking heart attack. You can't just throw people. You can't just throw beavers out of planes. That's like if you were having a good day, chat. You were having a good day and then someone just decided, hey, I'm gonna throw you off the airplane. One of them loved it, at least one.
We're gonna get into it right after this ad, because I got bills. This video is brought to you by Conflict of Nations, a free online PvP military strategy game.
So crazy.
It is based on a World War III type scenario where you get to pick your own country, or you can pick a state inside of the United States.
This ad placement is good, though.
Else, otherwise, America would be the instant win. Personally, I always start out as playing Iowa for obvious reasons, and my first order of business every single time is attacking
for his
Minnesota
content.
and turning them from Minnesota into Upper Iowa. They can't win a Super Bowl, and they're not going to win this battle. It's an easy W. But you don't have to attack. Remember, this is a strategy game. You can be diplomatic and
one of those beavers is like, I believe I could fly.
I mean,
I believe I could fly.
Tanks, jets, and nuclear
I got
submarines
shot
and turn
by
my
the
attention to
FBI.
Wisconsin. Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you
All I
guys. The
wanted
nuclear
was some
submarines are
chicken
not super helpful
wings.
in Midwestern warfare,
Something,
but that's the type of
something in
flexibility that
collard
Conflict of Nations
greens.
allows. I've
I
already taken over
believe I
Minnesota,
could
the land of
soar.
10,000 lakes. I'm gonna
But
put a
mama
nuclear
slapped me
submarine
at
in
that
every one of those
open
lakes.
door.
Anyways, if you want to give it a try,
I
it's available on
believe
both
I could
PC and mobile. And
fly.
if you use my link and
I
discount
believe
code
I
down
could
below, you're gonna
fly.
get 13,000 free gold
I
and a free
believe
1-month
I could
membership.
fly.
Let's get back to the video.
Nice, right on time.
All right, let's just take this from the top. Beavers, okay, one of my favorite animals. Why? Because I believe it is the animal that is most similar to humans. And I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, what about monkeys?
Monkeys, yeah.
What about apes? What about chimpanzees? They've all got thumbs and they poke shit with sticks and they eat bananas just like people do. That's fine.
Yeah.
I understand that they're very similar to people, but beavers are the most similar to humans in spirit. We are the only animals on the planet with the audacity to walk into a new ecosystem and be like, wow, I hate everything about this. I could A, migrate, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with option B and change everything about the world around me to make it suit me better and fuck everybody else. Now,
That is true when you think about it. When you think about it, beavers go into an area and they're like, yeah, F this. I'm going to build this. They always work. They're like, you know what?
do I enjoy the wetlands that beavers create with their dams? No, it's not my jam. However, game recognized game, because when the beaver sees running water and is like,
you gonna do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
it's no different than when it's July and it's hot out and I decide to turn my air conditioner on so I can domesticate the wind so that my balls aren't hot, okay? It's about changing the environment around you rather than—
I never thought about, like, the fact that we're just dominating the wind. That's crazy. Have you ever thought about the different things in your life that you dominate without realizing that you dominate it? You know? Like, that's interesting. I know he said domesticate, but I like the word dominate more. Hi, Morning Spite. Hi, Faye. Can I get a shout out for Faye, please? Beavers colonized Mars? What?
And changing yourself. Okay, it's just that species-wide main character energy of, I don't need to evolve anymore, I'm perfect how I am, I'm going to evolve the world around me to some shit that I like more.
I do dominate
grandmas. So while I have a great childish respect for beavers, unfortunately for the beavers, between the 15, 16, 17, 1800s, their furs made dope-ass hats and they were really popular all across Europe, and the beavers were almost hunted to extinction for their pelts. Okay, and as I'm sure you can imagine, no beavers means no beaver dams, no beaver dams means no wetlands, and no wetlands messes up the entire ecosystem. Okay, we can't have it, we gotta quit killing all the beavers.
You can't
So the
kill
early
beavers,
1900s,
bro. We
people
need them.
realized this. They put protections on the beavers, and we quit trying to hunt them to extinction and actually try to help encourage their population to build back up, okay? Fast forward like 50 years, 1945, 1946, right around then. All the young men that went off and fought World War II are coming back home. They got a bunch of money from fighting that war. They want to get a wife, build a house, have some kids, do people things. So they start
But you can't build a house like a beaver could build their house. And whenever people are doing stuff, they just gotta think to themselves, man, what a beaver do?
expanding. And one of the places this happens in is a town called McCall, Idaho. And they start
Idaho.
expanding, and the town gets bigger and bigger. And eventually it displaces a bunch of beavers that have been out in the woods doing beaver things for hundreds of years.
Oh
And
my
those new
God.
beavers get displaces a bunch of beavers that have been out in the woods
Oh, they are so cute. Chat. Chat. Can I get one? Can I get a beaver? Can I get... I want... No, why not? Why do you guys always do this to me? Why don't you let me have... Why don't you let my jeans be jeans? Sure, sadly, no. You can't have a beaver. Why not? Why not? Good morning, Spite. I'm new here. I found you on YouTube a few days ago. Hi, Pegasus. Pegasus, can you believe this? They're telling me I can't have a freaking beaver. That's crazy. Are they not endangered? I would take care of it. I wouldn't kill the beaver. We said yes to a lizard and a goat and a dog. Exactly. You have a beaver? I have a beaver?
doing beaver things for hundreds of years, and these new beavers get displaced and they go out and they start fucking up a bunch of farmers' fields and irrigation systems, and it gets to the point that the people in the town are just going to start shooting these beavers because they're messing everything up. At this point, the Idaho Fish and Game Department, presumably also full of World War I and World War II veterans, steps in and like, no, we're not.
All women have a beaver? Huh? Pegasus, thank you for the follow. I don't understand.
We're not gonna kill these beavers. These guys are awesome. They do a lot for the environment. We're gonna take them. We'll move them somewhere else where they can thrive.
We're not killing beavers. We're just relocating them.
So here's the plan. They're gonna capture the beavers alive. They're gonna drive them as far as they can on roads, and then they're gonna pack them in on horses and mules, miles and miles into the wilderness.
They're putting the beavers on the horses
ever. And this is a complete disaster, pretty much from the start. They capture the beavers alive, stick them in a cage, throw them on a truck, try to drive them hours and hours into the wilderness. This is really hard on them because beavers, they're a lot like me. I like to sit in my house in the air conditioning. They like to sit in their dams in the nice, damp, wet environment to keep cool.
I wouldn't
Beavers
like that
can't
either.
keep cool on the back of an unair conditioned truck in the mid 1940s. A lot of them are getting heat stroke, they're passing out, they're dying, they quit eating, or they get super agitated and they're very combative the entire time because they're hot. Then even if the beavers do survive the truck ride, they're all pissed off and angry, and now they're getting strapped to a horse or a mule, and that pisses off the horse because he's got a bunch of angry beavers all over him, and now the horse is pissed off, and the whole thing just, it doesn't work. So
yeah, you pissed off the beavers and the horse. How dare you?
We gotta save all these beavers. We want to get them up in the mountains so they can build their wetlands. It's gonna help protect the town from flash flooding. It's gonna prevent erosion. It's gonna be great for the environment. We gotta save these guys. And one guy at the Fish and Game Department presumably is like, I mean, I got an idea. Hear me out. We do have an awful lot of extra surplus parachutes from World War II laying around, and we've got a plane. Okay, now to us in 2024, this sounds insane, but you gotta remember, this is 1948, okay? There's no OSHA, there's no rules and regulations,
that time,
and
whatever.
Idaho,
that's the time when they did a lot of shit, right? They did a lot of interesting shit during that time.
Which is basically the middle of nowhere at this point. Nobody's telling these guys what to do. A bunch of World War I, World War II veterans are like, huh, it's actually a pretty good idea.
We need to do fun stuff in our time. We should put grandmas in parachutes and shoot them off. That would be so funny.
Jimmy, you know, it did work at Normandy, and the Beavers aren't even going to have Germans shooting at them, so I mean, pretty high likelihood they'll be fine. Let's try it. So, first order of business, we got to develop a box that opens up once it hits the ground and gets the beavers to the ground safely.
Put the
Pretty
grandma
simple.
in
it's basically
the
two
cannon.
halves of a box with some holes drilled in it.
Blast
they
them
weave the
up.
rope through. Once the parachute lands, there's no more tension on the rope. The box just kind of falls open, the beavers get out and start doing beaver things. So first we're going to test it before we put any innocent beavers at risk. We're going to take some empty weights, put them in the boxes, go up in the plane, drop them over the practice field, see how it goes. Goes fine the first couple of times, okay. Let's try it with one beaver, just for practice. So they go ahead, they pick an older male. He's out of his breeding prime, potentially dangerous to some of the younger males. If something does happen, he's lived out most of his life. They name him Dronimo because they're a bunch of meatheads and that shit's funny. So
at least they had some type of morals. They're like, yeah, you know, he's been through life already. We'll start with this one.
they put him in a crate, they take him up in the plane, drop him off over the practice field from 800 feet. Dronimo makes it and survives. Now, obviously, we're not going to put all our beavers in one basket because of one successful test run. We need multiple test runs to be certain that this is going to work. And now that Dronimo is technically our lucky beaver, he's going to do it again. So he does.
Isn't Geronimo like a song? There was a song. I'm trying to think of it in my head. I like kind of have it in my head.
Does it again and again.
Hey,
and again,
Geronimo,
and he keeps jumping, like more than
Geronimo.
12 jumps this beaver makes. And by the end of it, the park's employees keeps jumping, like more. Geronimo does it again and again. Lucky beaver, multiple test runs to be certain that this is going to work. And now that Geronimo is technically our lucky beaver, he's going to do it again. So he does. Geronimo does it again and again. And again, and he keeps jumping, like more than 12 jumps this beaver makes. And by the end of it, the park's employees reported that Geronimo would actually run up to them and help them put him in the crate because he was ready to go again. Oh,
he
this
liked
is animal
it.
abuse. And what if one of those boxes didn't open after the parachute landed?
Oh my God.
Okay, first of all, no it isn't. I've already went over the options. A, they could stay where they were at, being displaced, and end up getting shot by farmers for messing up their crops. B, they could spend days in transit on the truck and on a pack mule suffering and potentially dying. Or C, we could throw them in an airplane, fly them there in 15 minutes,
they like
and then
it.
throw them out the side. They can get their jump wings while they're doing their Band of Beavers reenactment, okay?
The Beavers
the best
actually
option.
liked
Hey,
it.
secondly, why are you worried
They
about
got the consent of the Beavers. Oh my God, the Beavers. That's crazy.
the box not opening? Like, did you think about this at all? It's a pine box, and that's a beaver. Okay, literally the only animal in the animal kingdom known for cutting down trees with its fucking face. I have the utmost confidence that if one of those boxes malfunctions, the beaver is gonna figure it out. All right, so now they have their beaver delivery method. They develop a plan. They pick out a bunch of different locations all over this wooded area where they're gonna be able to drop these beavers off in groups of like 3 to 5, 2 males, 3 females, 1 male, 3 females, something like that, enough that they're going to be able to rebuild their own little colonies, but they're going to be spread out enough that they're not going to congregate into one thing, and it's going to be a humongous boost to the beaver population. This is what conservation's all about. So they get that all figured out. They have the plan in place. They know the delivery method. Now
They got a plan.
Just gotta go
They have a
catch all the
plan.
beavers. So they go back to town, catch them all. There's 76 of them. They take them back. They start loading them in crates,
Gotta
and
catch
they're
them all,
going to take
gotta
them up in
get
the
all
plane and throw
beavers.
them out the side. And here's the best part about the whole thing. They filmed it.
Into the drop box.
Oh
Nearly
my
ready for that
God.
flight.
The best part about the whole thing. They filmed it.
Into the drop box.
Bro, they're just handling these beavers with their bare hands. King Kalandor, thank you for the follow. You're picking up a beaver with your bare hands. Oh my God. Like, this is actually crazy. This is crazy. Okay, I know this is a whole different time, Beaver. Why do I keep saying Beaver? It's a whole different time period. But like, that's your bare
Throw 'em out
hands,
the
man.
side. And here's the best part about the whole thing. They filmed it.
Into the drop box. Nearly ready for that flight back into the mountain.
And this is where you can really start to see that this is a different time. I mean, look at this absolute Chad just manhandling this beaver into that crate with no safety equipment, no gloves, no eye pro, nothing. If this were modern day, that guy would have leather protective gloves up to his elbow. He'd have safety glasses with a hard hat, with a face shield, with a leather apron. He'd have 2 dudes holding his hand while he did it just to make the safety guy happy. No, this is just some angry war veteran throwing a beaver into a box like it's another 8-hour work.
Honestly, if you're a veteran, you've dealt with shit already. Like what is a beaver? Beaver ain't anything for you, right? It's like whatever. It's just a freaking beaver. You've dealt with way more if you're a vet, you know? Like like a beaver doesn't mean shit.
Workday, it's fantastic. That's it. They get the beavers loaded up on the plane. The plane takes off. They drop all the beavers in their designated drop zones. 75 out of the 76 survived.
They actually threw the beavers out the thing. I cannot believe they actually threw these beavers out there. Oh my God. They actually actually threw the beavers out. This is so
Drop all the beavers
crazy.
in their designated drop zones. 75 out of the 76 survived. I don't know how.
I'm not gonna lie to you. In my brain, I was picturing like a beaver with like goggles, with goggles and a little backpack. Like that's what I was picturing when they said that like they were throwing beavers out. I was expecting like a little backpack with like the little helmet on. One died. No, one died. Sorry, I was laughing so hard at them throwing them out.
I'm assuming they had people on the ground at the different drop locations to make sure the boxes opened or that the beavers made it or whatever. But apparently the one beaver that didn't make it had somehow either slipped through the crack when the rope was loose or eaten his way out of the box after they let it out of the plane. And the beaver was last seen standing on top of the box with the parachute above him. And he probably would have been fine, except when he got 75 feet off the ground, he decided to jump.
Oh, okay. Lost
So
back
on one
and
hand,
thank you for
that's
the
kind of sad,
follow.
but on the other hand,
But he was,
natural selection.
he
If
was
the
just
other
there.
75 beavers figured it out and you didn't, it's probably on you. On a happier note, though, the boys at the Fish and Game Department decided to hook up their lucky
Not him
beaver,
victim
Geronimo.
blaming the beaver.
This is posted in the Journal of Wildlife Management, Volume 14, Number 2, April of 1950. The article, Transplanting Beavers by Airplane and Parachute by Elmo W. Heater, Idaho Fish and Game Department, McCall, Idaho. And I quote,
I love this
Geronimo-
man's tattoos really quick. I love his tattoos. I love people with tattoos. Like I know I have one. I have one tattoo. But like they're so attractive. If they're put on there correctly, like in the right way, like when I mean like, you know, they look like they're especially a nice sleeve on someone. Like my best friend, I told you guys my best friend's gorgeous. She has like a somewhat sleeve on her arm and I'm just like, dude, you're so hot. I'm like, you're such a badass, honestly. Iron Shadow, thank you for the follow. The only reason I don't have like a sleeve or a tattoos of any sort besides the one that I have already is because I'm like scared of having something permanent on my body. I'm too ADHD to have something that's like, you know, I'm scared of having something permanent, but I think that I would love having tattoos.
W. Heater, Idaho Fish and Game Department, McCall, Idaho. And I quote, Geronimo had a priority reservation on the first ship into the Hinterland, and that with 3 young females went on the first ship into the Hinterland, and that with 3 young females went with him. They had to hook up their boy. And he made it. Apparently they went to check in on him a couple years later and his new colony was, and I quote, very well established. And Geronimo was not unique in that because pretty much every drop zone ended up turning into a thriving beaver colony in the following years because they kept tabs on this entire thing. And not only did it work, it was also super cost effective because according to this journal, the cost of transplanting one of these colonies was $30. It was $2 for the box.
Oh my God, look how cute it is as it comes out. They're not even biting him. They're just coming out. They're just like, it's so cute. Oh my God.
Was $30. It was $2 for the box, $16 for the surplus cargo parachute, and the flight time, man hours, and fuel totaled to $12 for a total of $30 per colony. And just to be clear, that's the actual crazy part about this story. It's not the fact that they actually had airborne beavers to go save the environment. No, that seems pretty reasonable. The crazy part is that these guys back in the 1940s managed to get the job done, have fun, and record it, and they did it for like $300 to $500. Because we all know in modern times, if they wanted to do this, there'd have to be like a 15-year-long environmental impact study.
They better give that guy who suggested it like a raise or something. Iron Shadow, you have your arms completely covered. Dude, I love tab.
It costs the U.S. taxpayers $25 million just so that the government could determine that if you drop beavers off in the forest, they will in fact do what beavers do. And then once the government got beavers off in the taxpayers $25 million just so that the government could determine that if you drop...
Oh my God, I love them so much. I love them so much.
Beavers off in the forest, they will in fact do what beavers do. And then once the
They are
government goes
chill,
ahead and says
yeah.
it is in fact okay to put beavers in the woods, it's going to take another 10 years for Lockheed Martin and Boeing to bid on the contract worth $100 million to relocate 100 beavers into the woods.
Is it just me, or was that the stupidest thing we've ever seen?
Sorry, I'm ranting. In conclusion, the moral of the story is if it sounds dumb, but it works, it's not that dumb. And sometimes it's ridiculously cost effective
Only
to
one
just
died.
let people do their job.
And that's
also,
because of
beavers are
natural
cool,
selection.
and airborne beavers are even cooler. And this has been the story of America's band of beavers, the airborne paratrooper beavers that went in to save the environment. Thank you for watching. Best way to support the channel is go buy some merch.
Thank you.
FatElectrician.com.
Fat Electrician, thank you so much. Dude, oh my god. I think that's so cool.
I didn't make a single vagina joke in that entire video. I'm finally maturing.
I didn't even know it was a vagina
Don't
joke.
forget to go check out Conflict of Nations, okay? You get
I didn't even know, man. You guys, I didn't even know, man. I'm over here like, what the frick are you guys talking about? You're like, you have a beaver. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? What the F? What the F? I was like, what the frick? Yeah, beaver is slang for Wagyu. I gotta say, that's a weak name for a Wagyu. Like, why the hell would someone call it that? That's not cute. That's not like, I'm sorry, that's not a cute term. Like, I'm not saying you guys are bad for saying it. I'm saying whoever made that term, whoever decided that it was the term for a coochie. I think coochie's cuter. I think coochie's cute. I think Wagyu and coochies are like the best like words so far. You know, like why would they call it a freaking beaver? Like, but beavers are cute itself, like themselves, but like the word.